Hello and welcome to week 12. This week's chapter from English Studies basically describes the work that you are doing in 671 literary theory. Amy Elias provides a nice historical overview, and I'm in awe of how she's taken a hugely complex field and summarized it so succinctly. I also appreciate the direct and straightforward style of her writing, which you don't necessarily see in the actual theories themselves. Two things about this chapter struck me the most. The first was how she explains the different ways we can interpret texts, the formalist approach that relies on close reading and aesthetics, and the theoretical approach which brings in context. I know that might seem obvious, but I liked being reminded of the distinction and the ways that the two approaches are not separate but intertwined. The second thing that struck me was the way she organized the theories into four groups. 1. Marxism and New Historicism, 2. Psychoanalytic theory, 3. Feminism, gender studies, and sexuality, and 4. Theories of race, ethnicity, and nationhood. Usually I have seen a chronological order of literary theory, but this method of grouping seems to be more manageable somehow. Given my own background in postcolonial studies, I don't experience any conflict over theory and its place in an English department. What I do personally struggle with is the shift from the term literature to text, a text being anything that can be read, from a bulletin board to a tweet to a novel. I wonder, though, how much of this is just a personal preference for literature, or is it a desire to protect my turf or to somehow maintain the hegemony of literature? I love to read and write, most people do not. I love the printed word and I love language and words. It is difficult for me to compartmentalize this passion when it's part of what I'm teaching. The past 15 years have been a process of learning not to take it personally when many, if not most of my students don't share my passion, and that's okay. So I don't think I'm a relic or a dinosaur, because the general public has never really shared my passion for literature. That is part of the reason why I brought in the two articles from the New Republic to take a debate and see what it looks like outside the academy. The articles by Hirsch and Polizzi are wading into concerns that literature studies will go the way of classics departments, that print literature is behind the times, especially now in our digital age. But again, I'm not sure the majority of people have ever cared about literature beyond getting through the required classes in school. It is possible that universities might stop teaching literature someday, or at least stop requiring it as part of the gen ed curriculum. If similar knowledge and skills can be acquired in other ways, then would it matter? After all, if my English department allows student research projects to focus on television, film, and other types of storytelling, then we are making that argument ourselves. We have already decided that literature no longer dominates. Even if literature studies dwindles further or even disappears, I do not think this would stop people from writing and reading literature. I always joke with my gen ed literature classes that none of the writers we are studying wrote this stuff for a college classroom. Writers will always exist, and books will always exist in one form or another. On Blackboard, I have posted 2 links to Stanford's Humanities Center, including their Digital Humanities Center. It might be helpful to look at those before reading the New Republic articles. I will be interested to see what you think about the digital humanities and how it fits into the other questions we have looked at in this class. I am wondering if it is related to the debates in cultural studies, an after effect of opening up the definition of a text, or is it just another iteration of the debate over change?